Before I speak about my running journey, I'll give you a background of who I am, where I come from, what do I do. So I have been living all my life in Mumbai, a Mumbai girl, always in sports in some way or the other, since my school days, since college. And I also come from a family where movement is given a lot of attention. Like for us to go anywhere, it's not like कि गाड़ी निकाल दो भाई, चलो गाड़ी से जाते हैं, taxi बुलाते हैं. That was not, that was not one of the cultures that I grew up with. It was always like, yeah, we'll walk up to the place. अच्छा यहाँ जाना है, okay, 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer, it doesn't matter. We will walk to that particular location. So that's how I have been. That's how my aunts have been. That's how my father has been. कि cycle लेके जाओ, चल के जाओ, गाड़ी निकालने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, टैक्सी बुलाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. My father, in fact, I lost him in 2020, in December 2020, and till his last days, he would walk to 2 kilometers to Dadar station to buy sabzi. That is how it has always been, and that is how I have seen things happening around me. And then I have been in sports all my life. I have represented Maharashtra in Taekwondo, played it at the national level till college. And then I passed out. That's when things started happening to me and my body. So you pick up anything and everything that comes your way. You don't question the authorities if they are burdening you with 12 hours, 13 hours of work. Long hours of work, lack of sleep, lack of proper nutrition, which is not something that I was used to as a person since my childhood. Not something that I was familiar with, not the lifestyle that I have ever had in my life. My lifestyle used to be wake up at 5:30, go for the training, go for my practice, do my sports, study in school, study in college, come back, have a hearty meal at 7:30, go to bed by 9:30. That is the lifestyle that I have lived till I was 20, 21, 22, whatever that age when I took up my job, right? And then suddenly I started working. And bad lifestyle, bad food habits, lack of proper nutrition, lack of sleep, lack of movement. Being in a media profession, we don't have time, we don't have schedule to what we do. So we just motor on, just go with the flow, take up the work that you have. And that is what I was doing. I was struggling to survive with whatever role that I had taken up back then in my first job. And you're young. You don't know, or you don't feel what's going on within your body unless, it hits you one day and physically it hits you one day. So I can never forget, this particular Saturday where I woke up with a bad backache, very, very bad one. And it was, in fact, it went down up till my right thigh. I still remember that day. And I had a meeting in the afternoon, which, being a early 20-something person, I completely ignored the back pain. I would be this was like a muscle spasm or something. And I went on with my day. Next day, it hit me that I couldn't get off my bed. And I told my mom, okay, listen, this looks like something serious. So she's like, you know what? Today's a Sunday. Why don't we wait for another day? And Monday we'll go to our family doctor and she might be able to help you. She might be able to give some direction. What we typically do, all of us, we typically do that. So it was Monday. Monday came and we went to the family doctor and, she directed me to physio. Physio directed me to another better physio. And then for months put together, I was, taking all those warm massages, hot treatment, heat, cold treatment, all of those therapies that, anyone and everyone does when you have some muscular issue, some issues in the bones, muscles or whatever. After weeks and days and hours of staring at the ceiling while I was taking the bed rest and going through all this physiotherapy that I had been through, I realized that, what has really happened. And when I looked at my reflection in the mirror, it wasn't me, who I used to always, I was used to seeing, in the mirror. So I was like, okay, I need to take control of my life and I need to take control of it now. This is not who I am. I don't resonate with this person who's standing in front of me in that reflection. So that is when I thought, and I thought hard, okay, like I don't have schedule. Like I work some days from 1 to 1 a.m., some days from 7 to like whatever, 10 p.m. So where does this class fit in? Can I go to a class? Can I go to a pool? Can I play a sport like I used to, what I have been used to since childhood? I can't, because I cannot fit into the schedule of a class. So that's when it hit me that running was something that I used to do as a warm-up when I used to do taekwondo. So why not, start with something basic, some basic movement. So I thought, okay, I live in a place in Bombay, which is very strategically located between two running spots, which is Shivaji Park and Worli, where a lot of people run. I used to go, and there was a thick community of runners in Shivaji Park who would be coming and warming up or whatever in the morning, in the evening, whatever time was suitable for me. It didn't matter. 12 noon, doesn't matter. I will go for like a walk, jog, run, whatever that I can manage with whatever time I had in hand. So I started running from one tree to the next tree. Then, like whenever that tree ka distance became comfortable for me to do, I just added another tree. Then I added one more tree or one more landmark to it. And then one day, I finished one full round around Shivaji Park. And the distance was 1263 meters, which is 1.263 kilometers. And I was so elated. I was so happy. I can never forget that day in my life. I was like, okay, I did 1.263 kilometers. Wow, amazing. So then, that increased as the weeks progressed. So what does, what did this, this being on bed rest to doing my first 1.263 kilometer distance teach me? Moving with intention, and even if you take small steps, no matter how small your steps are, it makes a big difference. It will not show you immediate results. It will not show you a result tomorrow, day after. But give it a few weeks, give it a few months, small consistent movements, every single day, they will get you the result sooner or later. So I kept on increasing the distance, and within, I think, a few months, because also given my sports background, I was doing 4-5 rounds with ease around Shivaji Park. So this one senior citizen came up to me and he's like, you know what? I see you run every day consistently. There's Mumbai Marathon that happens. Why don't you register for Mumbai Marathon? So I don't know what was it. Was it was it plain stupidity, ignorance, or audacity on my part? But I registered for the distance. I ended up at the start line of Mumbai Marathon. Not just ended up at the start line, but I motored through and I finished my first full marathon on 20th January 2013 within a respectable time of 5 hours, with whatever training that I had, whatever confidence that I carried with me, whatever audacity that I had, and I did it. Marathon, the name comes from the fact that the marathon, the Battle of Marathon happened. The Battle of Marathon was when Persians invaded Athens, and then Greeks were victorious in that battle. So there was this Greek soldier, his name was Phidippides. So Phidippides had to run from Marathon, the city of Marathon, all the way up to Athens, which is at some elevation from the Marathon. Marathon is a plain wala city. So he had to run that distance and deliver the message of victory. So he started his run from Marathon, ran all the way up to Athens, went to the royal court and said, "We won," and died after giving away the message of victory to the Athenians back then. So in his honor, during the first Olympics, the first modern day Olympics that happened in Athens in 1896, marathon was introduced as a sport with no set distance, somewhere around 41 भी हो सकता है, 40 भी हो सकता है, 39 भी हो सकता है, somewhere around 40 we'll keep the distance. Now, how did this distance come about to be a 42.195? Well, the answer to that is the answer to most of the problems that, many of us in the third world countries, second emerging markets face, colonization and the royalty. So, in 1908, during the London Olympics, the first marathon distance came about to be, which was 42.195. How? Because the run started at Windsor Castle, and the royalty and the queen wanted the race to end where the royal box was. So additional 2.195 kilometer was added, and all of us marathoners have to run that additional 2.195 because of the royal family, the British royal family. That's why we run that additional 2.195. So that is how the first marathon distance came about to be. The lesson number 2 that I want to give over here is that has been my attitude towards life. Sign up, say yes to things or any opportunities that come your way, and then uske baad put in the work, put in the effort. Like majal hai kisi ki that the person will stop you from being successful in what you do. Absolutely, just first at least try it out. A lot of times we waste our time thinking ki yaar, what if this happens? What if that happens? We worry more about the consequence than, just living in the moment, taking up, that step, taking up, that opportunity that comes your way. Like if I tell you tennis requires equipment. It's an expensive sport. Golf requires money to play. Badminton requires money to play. Come to Marine Drive on a Sunday morning. I am not joking. I have a friend who is a gold polisher who works for 12-hour shifts polishing gold every day. And he is one of the best runners that I know. And I run with him. I train with him. So it's such a great great sport that anyone and everyone can do. You can run with shoes, you can run without shoes. You can choose whatever way that you want to run, whoever you want to run with. We are all equal on that Sunday morning as we are running on the roads of Mumbai. So that is really the beauty of this sport. So, this is what has kept me going in running. And then recently, I spoke about my first run, which was the Mumbai Marathon, which I did in 5 hours. And just this January, 12 years later, in the year of Kumbh again, I finished the 30th full marathon in Mumbai. And it wasn't just the marathons that, I did. I went beyond the distance, because once you get into this sport, now it's so fascinating that you don't want to stop. So I went beyond the distance of 42.195 to do something called as ultra marathon. So ultra marathon is essentially anything and everything that you do above 42.195 kilometer. It could be 44 kilometer, it could be 50. So I have done 100 kilometers, 100 miles, 36-hour races, which works pretty much like Formula 1 Le Mans, where you need to keep on lapping whatever the lap of the event is, 24-hour races. So I have done all of that. I have run on different terrains, on mountains, wherever I get an opportunity. So even now, I drive to, I think about what is the next thing, what next? Even if I finish a race today, I will ask myself, okay, what is the next thing that I should be excited about? What will keep me excited? Do you have any idea? And this was spoken about just before they were introducing me. What keeps you young? What is it that keeps you young? You have any answers for that? Anyone wants to volunteer? What is it that keeps you young? Is it exercise? Is it movement? Is it exercise? What is it? Curiosity, yes, 100%. And also excitement. If you are 50 or 60 years old or 70 years old, and if you're excited about, that small things that you want to take up next, small things that you want to you want to achieve or you want to do, that is what keeps you young. It's not your anti-aging creams, Botox, or anything else. It's that excitement, the childlike excitement for your next project, for something that you've accomplished yesterday or, today morning. So that is what keeps you young. So that is what I love to do. Like, I like to be always excited, childlike excited about anything, any new challenge, any new activity that I want to take up. So that is one of the most important things that running as a sport also gives me, or endurance as a sport has also given me. And the second thing, how it has impacted my life over the past many years is that, I believe very much in discipline, which I spoke about, small, disciplined, consistent efforts. Because a lot of people, they ask me, and a lot of my friends, they ask they speak about my schedule. Like, for example, the month from November to December, I was in between 5 countries, traveling for work to different locations. And, how do you do it? And in that period, I had one Ahmedabad full marathon, which I did in the last weekend of November. A 50-kilometer run that I did in Mumbai on 15th of December. Then Mumbai Marathon, something which I did in the 3rd weekend of January. So one of the things that I want to tell you is, like, motivation is really, really overrated. Like, full stop. There is no, there is no other way to say this. Motivation is really overrated. Motivation is fleeting. It's consistency. Like, consistently, if you put in efforts in whatever you do in life, whatever, that is what takes you to the finish line. It's not motivation. And this is the most important thing that you will have with you till your last breath. Endurance mind. So what is endurance? So there is a very famous, popular, statement about endurance, which was put up by a researcher. His name was Sam Marcora, and he said, endurance is the struggle to continue against your mounting desire to stop. One more step, like one more foot forward, one more push. I'm going to give you one more push, one final time. And that is what you need to finish any race, any difficult challenge in your life. And that is the endurance mindset that running has taught me. So thank you so much. I'll leave you with this thought. Thank you so much for having me over here.